So hello everyone to the Gateway Ambassador call, and I'm very happy to welcome also Juan today, who will talk about the Gateways catalog and can answer questions how it was developed. And he's very open also to get feedback, I'm sure, how it is, it's always good for when you develop something to get feedback on your tools. So from here, I would just take it by Juan and introduce please yourself, and let's kick it off.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, my name is Juan Martinez. I'm a developer here in the University of Texas in Austin, and I am in charge of the SGCI catalog with Shunhan Yang from the San Diego University and Meta Han, that, well, she's leading the project. So let me share my screen. So as many of you know, let me see how I actually present this. Well, I am a little lost in.
If you go on slideshow, it should start the presentation.
This person play from current. Okay, got it. Okay, cool.
That looks good. Yeah.
So the SGCI catalog is it provides an interface or mechanisms to basically we have two different actors. So one is the providers and the other one are the consumers. So the providers is the research community and the scientific domain experts that, well, have resources, in this case, gateways and software, and the consumers will be the researchers that search through the catalog to get these gateways and software and different resources. And, well, we as developers, we are as well consumers of all that information, and or our goal is, well, present all these list of resources and make easy to digest for the researchers to get that specific resources in a friendly way. So that's what we are trying to do with the catalog, basically. So, well, as I said, well, the developers work on providing the framework for the catalog system and integrating the resources found in this catalog, basically all the information that we got from the scientific domain experts. And, well, the experts provide that information and register that information in our catalog. And, well, the researchers basically search for information or for tools, resources, and software through the catalog. And, well, this is the architecture overview about what are the consumers and the providers. Well, the consumers, as I previously said, well, are the researchers, the gateway developers, and the providers or the research community and scientific domain experts that, well, register all these fabulous tools. And, well, part of the architecture, we use Gulp and JavaScript. This is basically our main language, JavaScript. We use Angular as a front-end framework. Node, that is like the server that integrates all those different tools and, well, make all these thing happen. And we use Agave, and, well, currently we're using the new version of Agave that is Tapis, that is a platform that help us with the authentication for the user and the classification of all the information in metadata. So basically, Agave, we put all the information in Agave, and then Agave classifies all the information. So, and provide the security layer with the authentication, the users and passwords. So when we have that, or once when we are logged in the system, well, we can just send different or request different type of information, and Agave resolves all the information and catalog all the information, and the presentation layer presents that information classified to the user and make basically easy to understand or readable for the human beings. Okay.
So Juan, do you guys have plans to migrate from AngularJS to something new? With we have AngularJS stuff too, but we're looking at migrating because it's losing support because they went to Angular IO and React and other things.
Yeah, well, currently we are trying to migrate. Well, we're still using Angular 1, the first version, the first generation version. And we are now transitioning to Angular 2, but it seems like a lot of things are moving here in the University of Texas to oh, just forgot. Oh, sorry, I forgot the name of this framework. I am using it for Frontera. You mentioned that framework before.
React or
React. Yeah, there you go. Sorry. Yeah, it's because I am between Angular, React, and Java. So I was like, yeah, and a lot of things are moving now to React, and we're now focusing on transition to Angular 2, and then we just got a UX analysis. So we will be working a lot on the presentation layer for now, but yes, it seems like eventually we will be moving to React. Yeah.
Thanks.
And well, all the information that we classify in the catalog is metadata. So this is basically the classification of all the data that we have. So based on all this classification, Tapi or Agave do the rest of the work. Like, yeah. I don't know if you have chance or familiar with the interface of the catalog, but the interface is very, very simple. So let me see if I can show you. And yeah, that's one of the things that we try to do to make it simple to the user. So basically, we have all these filters that are the categories of the specific gateways, and this search bar that basically you just type in certain topic, and then the list is narrowed depending of the search, as well the filters, and then you can navigate easily through all these variables in order to get some tool more specific for you. And then we have these sorting options that we can, well, in order to make even more easy to get that specific tool that the researchers are looking for. So, and here we have basically two main classification. That is, one is the gateway itself, like is it will be like almost any tools, but we will find like important to have a different classification for software in order to make it easy for web, well, now for developers in general, programmers basically, to use different type of softwares and install it, or getting certain parts of code in order to create new things.
Juan, the searching for different categories or for tags, what is the easiest? So what are you all looking for? Let's say someone gives like a tag for microbiology. So you would find it in the categories and in tags, yeah, let's say the developers who added it to the catalog has inserted, or how does the search function?
Yeah, so here you have like a different topics of well, basically all the categories. So once when you have like you select one specific category, the list change in order for you to make more easy to get that information about that specific topic. And so you would say that how is this work, or how it works in combination with the search bar, or?
Yeah, so the question would be, for example, if I would type in microbiology, so how would does it search in the categories, in text you can give, or in the abstract? What is the search? Where is the search looking for this expression?
Well, basically, it search through all the information that we have. The URL, the description, categories, documentation, so through everything.
Okay, great.
And well, yeah, I mean, this is like, well, from the user interface is, I think, is very simple to use. I mean, we don't have like that many options to narrow or search. We basically have this classification, and we have the search. I think this is a very organic way to search, and we are trying not make this process overcomplicated for the researchers. And well, and as well, let's talk now about our future work. And we're continue improving our user interface that will on regular basis, mainly every 2 years or so, we have a UX analysis, and then we implement all this analysis and all well, implement the results of the analysis on our application, because the UX experts are in contact with all our users and in order to get a feedback to make the life easier for them. So yeah, they interview regular users, and after that they do some, well, put together all this information and then provide us the feedback. So because sometimes you think that that particular feature will be like very easy for the user to use or simplify the way that they work or they search for information, and well, you sometimes end up that probably you are complicated more their life. So yes, we're trying to make for them very easy, very user friendly, and then on regular basis we are getting this feedback. So this is our future work, and we'll continue to register more gateways and more resources, getting in contact with the research community and the scientific domain experts. And one of the things that we are improving too is the scalability for larger data sets, because as our database is growing, we have seen that the response for the request when we are getting information, it's now a little bit like the waiting time could be a little bit higher, and we like to present all the information easy and fast. So basically this is the improvement that we will be working on.
So
thank you very much. Juan?
I was going to say, is your for the scalability stuff, is it have to do with, it has to do with the Mongo database for the metadata that you guys are having issues with, or?
Yes, yeah. Basically, is one of the issues, because Agave and Tap is well, the team, these guys are working hard in make the changes in order to, because basically we would like to get our information like we are getting from a regular relationship database, you know, like you have different type of catalogs, and then or different type of tables that are related in certain way and have different, well, indexes. And we would like to get, basically we would like to get the information as from from Mongo databases we used to do with a relational database. But yes, we are working on that.
Yeah, So we abuse the heck out of our Tapas Agave metadata Mongo store, and we have like millions of records that we use to store like raster data and things in there, and we found that it's the permissions layer that is a huge bottleneck. So so we use a service account as the only thing that like owns or has permissions on those records, and that makes a huge difference, because if we try to share them with individual users in the platform, we end up with huge problems.
Oh, okay.
When we're trying to do that with lots of records. So I don't know what you guys have for permissions on the individual metadata documents, but you might explore that, because that pretty much took care of any performance issue we had by just having a service account that had the owner permissions on those.
Okay, so basically, well, having just one account for the entire application, just for the interaction with
that owned that owned the metadata documents.
Oh, okay.
Because when you add another user onto the metadata documents, if it's not an admin account, every unique identifier for the records has to be sent in like a special query from the metadata API layer to talk to Mongo to pull those specific records. But if it's an admin account, it skips that whole step, and because the admin account can get everything.
Yeah, actually, we tried that. I think the last year or so, and we still doing that way. But even though I think, well, our concern is that even though doing those changes, the performance is different from a regular database. So, and yeah, one of the problems probably that we have is the segmentation from the data, because usually the other types of databases use pagination, and yeah, for us, if, as now that is kind of a problem, to paginate all the information and get, and when you implement pagination, knowing how many segments of that size of chunk of information you have. And yeah, but I mean, yeah, we're still working on that with Agave team, with Tapi's team. And usually when, we request some specific functionality, they are able to implement or at least provide us a way to do our work better. But yeah, we implemented that. I think that the last year, just one user for the entire application. And, yep.
Steve, you had something.
So I was wondering, if you have one user, does that create some security problems, or because that means you have to have one set of credentials to get at all that metadata. I guess it's like having, your database password on the back end. I'm just wondering if that's a challenge.
For what we did, we have other permission checks in front of that, and so we have like another API that's sitting in front of, that's doing permission checks for those users, and then goes and fetches with that service account.
Yeah, basically, well, we do the same, and we use like different configuration files depending on the stage. But yeah, the approach is the same, but we have like a specific user for for that matter, but we try to maintain separated, or basically create a user per stage. Yeah. Yeah, and yes, we got all that information on backend.
I have a question.
Sorry.
Sorry. I was wondering, when somebody registers a gateway, do they also provide documentation? And is that uploaded into the catalog? And is that what is searched when somebody search the catalog? Or I probably have misunderstood when you said that it is searching the documentation for the gateway. Just want to understand that.
Well, yeah, we have some fields in order to provide some sort of documentation, but I mean, we don't search through, for instance, PDF files or Word documents or so.
Okay, thank you.
So I would have a question. So I know that most of the gateways or the software also provides URLs. Is the plan to check the URLs whether they're really still active and maybe ping the context to say, we have you in our catalog, but this where it points to is not active at the moment. Is there a plan for that?
Yeah, actually we're working in a application that is well, we call it the URL checker, and basically this application goes through all the URLs of our records and try to hit or 3 times, or have do like 3 different attempts, and if there's no response, 404 or 503 or whatever, we send out a notification. Yeah, that's something that we are working on. Yeah, to maintain, I mean, the sanity on all the data. And yes.
So another question, and she couldn't come today to the call. So it's sometimes overwhelming information for people who are coming the first time to the Gateways catalog. So is there a plan? I know the categories is already great, and we all learned from usability studies, of course, that we try to keep the user interface simple. But is there a plan to make it for people, let's say, more practical, to find the right solution for them, to have more sorting algorithms, to have more, to learn maybe from experience, from user behavior, what kind of expressions they look for, what kind of science gateways would fit to them, or software. Not really, I know this deep learning and machine learning is always this buzzword, but some learning algorithms from user behavior to make the search algorithm, to adapt the search algorithm. Is there any plan for that?
Well, not that I know. I mean, as now we are doing like the things in like old fashioned, like contact like actual users, human beings, and go from there, from getting in contact with the users, and then the interviews, and then the usability studies. Yeah, but no, not that I know.
Okay. Any other questions for Juan? Did I hear something, or otherwise, if someone asks, then there was maybe, you are muted. So one of the goals of this group is also, yeah, to help with finding the right software for projects, to help us gateway ambassadors to say, oh, if you have this problem, you could use this software. So we are aware of this is still, we are very at the beginning. So this program started just this year in the Science Gateway Institute. And if we would have some input for you, we would probably reach out to Metal and you and Juan, just to say, oh, this is what people could use for searching for something. So that would be cool if we, our findings.
Yeah, definitely.
So that is one of the goals of this group, to really, because I think it's great that we have over 500 products in the catalog. That is fantastic, because there's not a repository registry for gateway related software somewhere else. So this is really the main repository for it. And I think the Science Gateway Institute, we are the right people to provide it, but it's really overwhelming for someone who comes there the first time.
So one thing I haven't used this catalog, but one of the things I'm wondering is, can users of this system gain access to what queries were run against it? So especially whether those queries succeeded or failed to find anything. I mean, that might be useful information for someone trying. You know, it's not something you'd want to do with commercial products because they could be used and abused in so many ways. But I mean, with something like this, if developers of gateways could go onto the site and look at failed queries, maybe they could figure out better keywords for their gateway, or better things to put in the description.
No, yeah, that would be very useful, especially when you like mistype something. Yeah, but as now we don't have implemented anything. We are just through the exact like terms or words that the people type. Yeah, and yes, actually we don't have any like any way to track when some specific search failed or.
Well, there you go. Feature suggestion.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
Can we put it in the feature suggestion to have a log file? And
yeah,
if developers of systems don't get directly access to it, if you could, for example, publish, oh, the last week these searches were successful, these were unsuccessful.
Mm-hmm.
That developers can just look at the list and say, oh, my solution should have been found by this. So my text not.
I have a database about Pokemon.
Oh yeah. I love it. No, but that would be very cool, because for developers it's really also hard to know whether they put always the right text there for certain communities.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, even the filter philosophy, I clicked on it because I work in the humanities, so I was curious, and you know, that term means different things to, you know, depending on where you're from, very different things, right? So yeah, so it didn't return what I expected exactly, somewhat, but not exactly. So
got it. Yeah.
Did you cover, you may have covered this, and I apologize if I missed it. If something is added to the catalog, is there a way to subscribe and get an alert about new things being added, or how hard would that be to implement if people are interested in getting updated when new things are added?
Well, no, actually, yeah. Let me write it down, because I mean, I mean that would be a cool idea. I mean, if you are searching for or looking for any specific topic, and probably, yeah. Now, we don't have anything implemented with that, yeah. But I mean, it would be.
There's no push sort of interactivity with the community. It's more you go there to find yourself. It sounds like, which is fine. That's great.
Yeah.
I just think that would be that's another feature request. We're good at coming up with those, right? But
Yes.
yeah, especially I mean, because I mean, if you like your research topic is something specific, and then there were like more information coming up, and yeah, definitely you will like to know, yeah, and stay updated on that. Yeah.
And what would be cool, for example, we could connect, I like really the idea with the feature or the update on new material in the Gateways catalog. We could connect on the newsletter with it, to have always an update of the Gateways catalog, because we have a monthly newsletter. And in the monthly newsletter, there are the new additions to the catalog. So that gives also the new products some exposure. And it would be a monthly list, and nobody would be, feel spammed by it or something.
Yeah. Well, I guess since you already do that, in some ways, you are alerting people to the new things. So.
No, I wanted to say we don't advertise it in the newsletter yet.
Oh, you don't? Oh, I see. Okay.
No, we don't. So, so that was only the idea, maybe to connect both things. Because the one thing is there are sometimes phases, let's say every second day something is added, and sometimes a month nothing is added. And in the month, if every second day something is added, people might feel then like, oh, I don't want to be spammed by this. That was my idea, to say maybe we collect it for the newsletter and put it in the newsletter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice compromise. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So yeah, Juan, we can take some topics offline and discuss it with Metal, and yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Because we cannot decide that directly.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like the idea. And also, yeah, the developer list, what are successful searches and unsuccessful searches. That helps a lot.
Would it also be possible to have some kind of way to identify who is using these gateways, right? I mean, I know it's very hard, right? Because whose responsibility is it to kind of identify those? Or I mean, I as an institution might be using some other institution using it, but we don't go to the gateways and say that I use this, right? Just to, I don't know if it's valuable, but just thought if there is an easy way to do it, but just wanted to throw it out there.
I mean, this is probably, it's on the one hand side, since the science gateways and software are all not in our hand, but it's the developers all over the world. But what I like about the idea, maybe we could integrate and ask the developers, like, integrate something like a field, or what are your users? And that people can then really look it up, what kind of institutions. Not sure whether single users could make sense, but something to discuss, whether it's an additional field. And people could search for, oh, I just started at Notre Dame. Let me look up what is Notre Dame using for philosophy.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. That would be also a nice extension. Yeah, I like that. Juan, don't feel overwhelmed. We had this topic several times. We discussed it already on the last call. And therefore there was the idea that you present a little bit what the catalog is about and what is possible. And so, yeah, we are this group of people who try to advise the community what to use. So every tool that helps us to be better community builders.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Any further questions or ideas? One thing I would also have, I know there's always a contact person, so I like that the URL checker is already underway. Is there a way, because I know sometimes, of course, contacts also move between university, between projects, between, is there something to plan that really also the main contact is still, let's say, the main contact for the Science Gateway? I know that is probably more a manual action because it should be like an email, shooting an email like, oh, are you still the contact in the Gateways catalog for this software or something?
Yeah, well, no, I don't think so. So, for instance, okay, so every specific period of time, like try to contact the main contact of no, no, no.
No, I know it, and since there's already the URL checker, it should be on the provider developer side to make it clear that, yeah, there should be a main contact people can reach out to.
Mm-hmm.
But it might be helpful to have always the right contact there. But probably nothing is priority at the moment. I think the URL checker is important, but the other features are to make it more an interactive tool, or yeah, for people to really finding what they need to find. So with all the fields you're storing in the catalog, how easy is it to get additional fields in? To say if you have ideas like, for example, to add certain categories or more sorting algorithms or something like that.
Yeah, I think, well, that's not like that complicated because we've used, I mean, we've done that in the past. I mean, probably in the last year or two, we are adding like 2 new fields to our record. So yes, yeah, I think that, well, one of the a lot of things that we do are manual. So for instance, if we add a new field for a record, well, it's because it will be useful, but we need to like search that specific information for the rest of the record. So that's
yeah
yeah, that's something that is sometimes not that easy.
Of course.
Yeah, but yes, I mean, I mean, adding like new fields to the record, I mean, it's not that complicated.
Okay.
Yes.
Because that would be maybe some of the ideas, as Annelies said, that she, for example, looked for philosophy and would have expected part of the results, but also there were some unexpected results. Maybe we could add something like community feedback, that they say, oh, I searched for this and I wouldn't have expected this, or I would have expected this. You know, that it learns a little bit with the responses also from the community. So let's say there are 10 people who are searching for philosophy and they see a Science Gateway that is not popping up, and they by accident find it and would say, oh, this should be also philosophy, that they have the chance to give the feedback, this should be under this tag also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes, and probably, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I was thinking about that. I mean, it's like, yeah, probably we will, I mean, it would be nice to have a mechanism to get that feedback from the researchers, you know, because, yeah, like saying, yeah, I am looking for this specific topic and nothing pop up, but you have that for me it's like you have that information but not in the right category. So yeah, yes, yeah, I mean that would be something to look into
Okay.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. So any further feedback, questions for Juan?
Yeah, yeah, sorry. Yeah, because I was thinking probably along the way with these UX and usability studies and all that interviews that they use or they have or they make, probably there will be an additional question saying, you know what, have you well the like the terms that you tried to search, like list the information that you expect. Yeah, I think that will be a valid question for the usability studies. Yeah. I mean, because you have already there with you have already there the users, right? The researchers, so it will be like easy to get that information. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. And thank you very much for taking the time to joining the call.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
And so we still have another 10 minutes. So any other topics you would like to discuss in the last 10 minutes? And I've seen that someone stopped the muting. So normally that's a sign that someone wants to talk.
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Oh. I'm not sure if I do or not. I guess I'm sort of thinking about it. I mean, I come from a more rare kind of situation. I can't represent Science Gateways to the campus because I'm not in the right role for that. But I see very much the potential for it, particularly because I work with humanists, and that may seem like sort of an odd marriage with the gateways, but where I see the benefit is in facilitating the onboarding of humanists to computing processes and data sets and the use of the two and combining them and so on. And I had an interesting idea that came up, and Sandra's been kind of consulting on this on the side a little bit, with an arts, to meet an arts need where there's rendering needs that we're not able to meet right now during COVID because we don't have on-site, the students don't have on-site access. And I thought, I wonder if this is an appropriate use potentially for a Science Gateway where you can access a high performance cluster to and create a process, an interface for that students could use to render models, artistic models. And so we're working on that, and I'm pretty excited about it. I don't really have a way to push it, but I feel like I'm the only one who's coming up with these ideas, and I wonder if I'm sort of obviously I'm an outlier, and I'm fine with that, but does anyone else see any potential or any interest in your institutions for kind of a little bit less typical uses of the gateways?
I mean, first of all, for me, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
At Notre Dame, absolutely. Also, I work a lot with librarians and also in humanities. It's a great field for Science Gateways.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just the name that humanities doesn't feel attracted because they're like, oh no, I'm not talking about science,
Yeah.
We are in humanities. Mm-hmm. So I try to avoid the term Science Gateways. I say portals.
Yeah.
And that is the first hurdle to come over because that's the term. But otherwise, I'm happy to hear from other people. I think humanities is one of the big areas the Science Gateway Institute wants also to address because they're underserved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also came to, this is Bev Corwin, sorry. I also came to the Science Gateways by meeting Nancy Wilkins-Steer at a digital humanities event at the university. I forget, was Chicago way back. And I think there's a tremendous potential. We have a number of gateways that we've been working on that fall into kind of the digital humanities space, some of them, but it's hard to get them off the ground because there is sort of a big gap in that space between what Sandra was describing, between the concepts, of science gateways versus portals versus, other online community environments. But yeah, I definitely see that.
One of our big projects that we have a bunch of different domains, and some of them are some humanities domains like Hawaiian language translation data stuff. So one of our big EBSCOR projects, our big gateway, is trying to serve out data related to water, and some of that stuff is humanities data as well. So our gateway works on trying to support fair data standards for data discovery, interoperability, reusability, and that sort of stuff. And I think that's probably a big space that gateways are going to be heading to for, being part of repository, underlying architects for being repositories and interoperating with those things.
Can you speak Hawaiian?
You pick up a couple words here and there. But
Just like French in Baton Rouge, right?
Sean, are you at University of Hawaii, or where are you?
Yeah, I work for the University of Hawaii.
Okay. And Bev, where are you, if I may ask?
I'm in New York City.
Okay. So yeah, with humanities and Annalie, I'm also happy to. I got another email that we will work further on the Science Gateway for the rendering. So we are discussing two options at the moment. I don't know whether you get all the emails from Rafaela, and yeah.
I do.
Okay.
I figure it's an education for me in and of itself, so.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yes. So thank you everyone for joining today. So the last time we decided about this topic for this meeting at the end of the last meeting. So is there an idea for the next meeting, what you would like to hear about? And I try to make it possible. So one topic would be definitely also, we submitted the community engagement tutorial. We should to the Gateways conference. So we should hear about it before the next meeting, I think. I have to look that up or shortly around it. So the next topic could be to walk through the steps we would like to do in the tutorial, and whether some of you would like to be invited just for a call, for giving a short talk on saying, oh, this was the community engagement I did for the community I'm working with. So if you get accepted, we will have 3 hours of community engagement tutorial at Gateway. And the goal is, the first part is a couple of talks about different community engagement measures, and then really exercises about communication strategies, about brain trust, to exchange ideas about a specific problem, very spontaneous, without being prepared, just the first impression. Well, what can we do? And these exercises have been proven to be very successful, because you don't have all the burden of the background and where people think, oh, I cannot try this or this. No, if you hear the problem the first time, what is the first thought you have about this problem? What could be beneficial? So yeah, these are the ideas for the community engagement tutorial. So I would be happy to walk maybe a little bit through it the next time if that's interesting for everyone.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I give you 2 minutes back from your time. I know
you.
that is not so much.
Thank you, Juan, for
Every
the
little bit counts. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, good to see you.
Yep.
Thank you. Very good.
Take care.
seeing you. Take
Thank you,
care.
guys. Bye.
Stay safe and
Bye.
healthy, and thanks, Juan, again.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
you all too. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.